Here's an interesting game that I finally played after I vowed not to play due to this game having single player microtransactions. That's right, Far Cry 5 does have these little devils, and I might have actually made an entire video, albeit a horrible one, discussing this issue, and while it's not invasive, it still sucks that they're there, but let's actually talk about the game now. Far Cry 5 is a baby production game. You take the Far Cry standard open world formula, sprinkle in some Far Cry 3 antagonists, add the recruit system from Far Cry 4, and throw in the useful pets from Far Cry Primal, and you get a menage a trois that results in this spawn of Satan known as Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5 lacks all originality and doesn't really do anything that will blow you away. That isn't to say it wasn't enjoyable or that they didn't try. For starters, they took away the towers. No longer do you have to honorously climb up the towers to reveal certain locations on your map. Now you can just attack forts and bases and find a map that'll give you a tidbit of information about your surrounding area. What's also unique and different about this game is, well, nothing. I take it back. There is absolutely nothing else that stands out to me. This is a Far Cry 101 game. You run around, do drugs, hunt animals, and ultimately end up with a final showdown between you and the antagonist, Joseph Seed. Speaking of Joseph Seed, I just want to say that I don't hate him. And I didn't even hate the story. They really tried to throw in a curveball at the end, and I appreciate the effort. But after playing so many Far Cry games, I'm starting to feel slightly burned out from them. They need to mix up this formula and find a way to make it invigorating again. Not just to try have another boss asking us whether or not we know the definition of insanity, because I'm starting to believe it's playing another Far Cry game expecting some different results, but getting the same outcome. Despite all of this though, I do have to admit, and here's the crazy thing about this, that I still enjoyed the game, so maybe I'm part of the problem. I like the Far Cry formula to a certain extent. I enjoy running around and shooting everything that moves. I enjoy trying to find out ways to take over an enemy's base. And I definitely enjoy all the hardcore drugs my dealer gets me that makes me feel like I could punch the ribcage out of a bull. Although maybe now I'm mixing up reality with this game. So ultimately in the end, I can conclude that Far Cry 5 is an enjoyable game as long as you're okay with the freaky deaky threesome it took to create it. So without further ado guys, I'm going to go ahead now and give Far Cry 5 for the Xbox One a B-. And yes, it was a very short review, but I didn't really feel like I had to go into the gameplay because what you see here on the screen is basically what you see for every single Far Cry game. So if you've played one Far Cry game at this point, you've kind of played them all. Like I said though, it's not a bad game. The gameplay is not terrible. I absolutely love the shovel launcher. It is by far my favorite. I could spend a whole review talking about why it's the greatest weapon ever, but I'm not going to. And that, my friends, concludes this Overrated review, and I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this. I always appreciate your time. You are all beautiful people, and I will see you guys on the next video. I am Bradley Overrated, out like a trout. Have a good one.